Whenever you bring something like this in, you get wasps and bees, and I'm just like, well, maybe we'll leave this outside, yeah? Right, so I got myself a new router table that I've been building. So I thought the first project I want to make with it is to make myself a super, which is where you store the honey for my beehives. I need a lot of these. I haven't got enough for the number of brood boxes I've got. I have got Nationals, it's what my club has got. Nationals seem kind of poorly designed in some respects. There's a lot of extra complication to them. But nothing we can't make, just means that it first takes a bit longer. I'm first to admit I can probably buy this cheaper than I can make it, which is a bit disappointing from my point of view, but I do like to make stuff myself, so I'm still going to make some. I'm going to make a full hive as well and some nukes, but I thought I'd start with a super to start with. And I'm approaching this in a different way. So I'm approaching this as a woodworker that's got into beekeeping, not a beekeeper that's got into woodworking. So I'm not going to use simple tools. I'm going to use the best tools that I've got. I'm going to use my fancy new router table, and I'm going to use dominoes. I'm not going to do this little tenon detail here. I'm going to use a hidden tenon inside using my domino, because I feel like that would be quicker for me. But yeah, and I'm going to make this one, it's just going to be out of reclaimed pine. So I've just got these old boards here. I'm going to make it out of these. To rip down two sides, and then we need to put some rebates on them, and then we can get going that way. I'm not going to use frame runners on it. So on this one's got these metal frame runners. I haven't got any of these spare at the moment. I should have ordered some, didn't. So instead, I'm going to just bevel the top of them ever so slightly, probably on the table saw. Right, so National is 460 side to side. And for a super, it's 150mm deep, or thereabouts. So we'll save that in there for copying. If I was doing lots, I'd obviously set up a stop or something to do repeat cuts, but because I'm only doing one just to have a mess about, so it's not really important. Now I need to be fairly precise with a beehive. There's a thing called bee space that they can go through, and you've got queen excluders, which a queen can't and the bees can. So it's just good to get the spacing right. Now, not trying to reinvent the wheel, not yet anyway. So I know what space I need between these two rebates. So there's going to be a rebate for the timber to slot into. What we do is we'll get a scrap piece of timber, test it. Okay, so I took a bit of a risk before, because I didn't use a piece to stop any breakout from the back of the router bit. It's a brand new bit, so I knew it was going to be really sharp, and you could see there's no tear out at all, really. A couple of little splinters, nothing that matters on this. So now, put these together. Let's work out what the piece is in between. So I want 460 overall, so it's going to be 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 3. For a bigger workshop. I'm going to do what I did last time, rip it down twice, give me one straight edge to work off, and then I'll bevel the other edge at 130. Okay, next thing is the strengthening slats, which is what makes the National harder than a commercial or a Langstroth or whatever to make. There's these stupid slats in it, really. So they're for lifting, and the one slope to fetch the water off. So they are 44 by whatever you've got left. So in these it's 25. My tim's a little bit thicker, but I've kept the internal measurements roughly the same, especially the lengthwise. So it's going to be 420 if I cut and flush, and then it's going to be by 24 mil. So I've got some offcuts. I'm going to just run them through the planer now. I think I worked out how I hurt my back the other day. I think I've got to sort out the feed on that planer because pulling it and pushing it through hurts, basically. So now we need to work out the rebates. Need to cut a bevel on the bottom, like strengthening bar. Okay, so what I've got, instead of doing the kind of housing, tenon-y type joint there, bridle joint, I'm going to use the domino. I've got a 6mm cutter in it, 5mm cutter in it. Take these little dominoes here, and they will go half in that, half in the other. So they set that to 15 depth. That gives us our tenon. We can fire a screw through there later. Anyway, hold it all together. And flush on the back side there. Right, the key thing when using this domino is to use the surfaces that kind of register against each other, the same side. So in this case, the edge of the box will be on the outside of the support struts. Other than that, it's dead simple. And I've marked up to line up. If I was doing this, a lot of them, I'd make a jig or something that made it all kind of fairly straightforward and, you know, foolproof. But as we're just doing one, we can just line them up with some marks. So I've got the one done. Lines up perfectly. Like I said, these are so much more complicated than like a commercial box or a Langstroth one. You don't have these struts, and these will add quite a bit of time. It means you get longer lugs on your frames. I suppose that's good. Sometimes all you need is a dog just to stop stuff pushing back. Okay, so now it's time for the glue up. One thing I have done is in the side panels with the rebates in, I've put some screw holes, piloted some holes really. I'm going to screw it together. Saves clamping it, And I know everyone uses nails because they're cheaper, but you know, cost of 8 screws isn't really going to break the bank. We're going to use some glue and a brush. We're going to probably need a bit more glue than that. And we'll make sure that the dominoes are covered. And then all the mated surfaces. My daughter's going to come and tell me there's something wrong. Yes, sweetheart?
Please, could you add the wheel back on?
Hey?
The quick release, it came undone when I was coming down.
Oh god, it's because we did that when you were riding.
Yeah.
Make sure if it goes around the right way. Run a bit of glue into the housing joint. And then with the bevel, outermost, you'll slot that into there. And the frame wants to finish flush with the top. So I always find easiest when assembling the supers, flip that over, then we can just hammer that one down. Same with that side. Okay, so there you go, a National Super finished. Exactly the same size as my one I've got here from Fawns. So they're going to stack really nicely. Mine hasn't got a runner on top, instead we beveled it to kind of allow the frame not to be propelised by the bees too much. You can see there the amount if I press down on the bevel. So we should be able to get a hive tool underneath there and get it out, so it shouldn't be too bad. Obviously this is made with pine, so I'm going to paint it or oil it on the outside. I'll probably paint it. I kind of like the idea of having some brightly coloured stuff to go on top. Bees can see where they're going then. It's let me kind of get a good feel of making the National stuff. Part of me would much prefer to do commercial or Langstroth, but round here they use Nationals, and I feel like I've got to kind of stay on the same as the rest of the clubs and things like that. So there's a better exchange of materials should you want to, and things like that. So I feel like being on National is probably the most sensible thing, even though they are slightly harder to make. Again, I know that I could probably buy this cheaper than I made it for, especially if I buy seconds and things like that, but there is a kind of satisfaction in making it yourself. And now I've got my head round kind of making it with the bars and everything else, I think I'm going to make some nukes as my next projects, and then I might make a full hive with a removable floor, brood body and some supers and a roof. I might even do a carved one, which I think could be really fun, to carve up these bits here. I think could be really lovely. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time.